hand, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Jose Ibarra?
I do.
Thank you. Please take a seat. Spell your first and last name for Madam Court Reporter.
I am Zachary Davis, Z-A-C-H-A-R-Y, last name D-A-V-I-S.
Where do you work?
I'm a police officer with the Athens-Clarke County Police Department.
How long have you worked for the Athens-Clarke County Police Department?
I have been employed with Athens-Clarke County since March 7th of 2022.
What are your duties with Athens-Clarke County Police Department?
I am a patrol officer. I'm assigned to the West Side Division, work night shift between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m.
As patrol officer, what do you do?
Typically it's responding to calls for service. When you call 911 and you want someone to come out, that's your patrol officers that show up. When we're not responding to calls for service, we're expected to be patrolling our areas, meeting the needs of the community.
When you patrol, do you wear uniforms such as you are wearing today?
Yes.
And you drive a patrol car?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you working for the Athens-Clarke County Police Department in on February 22nd of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
What shift did you work that day?
6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
When you came in at 6 p.m., were you given any information about an incident that may have occurred?
Yes.
What information did you get?
At the time it was very little information, but I was made aware that a female had been murdered in the IM fields, the intramural fields located on UGA's property, just across the village from my zone.
And when you say just across from my zone, what do you mean by that?
So we divide the county along millage. Everything on the east side of millage, like the downtown area, is east side. I work the west side, so everything on the west side, closer to Oconee County and the mall, that's typically assigned to our side of town.
So millage is basically smack in between the east side and the west side?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the IM fields in that area of the University of Georgia?
I am.
And how are you familiar with that area?
Prior to being a police officer with Athens-Clarke County, I was employed by the University of Georgia Police Department and served on their patrol division for 5 years and some change.
So when you came to work that evening and were given this information, what, if anything, did you do?
My shift, we assigned more units down towards that millage area, just hoping to assist in any way that we could. I immediately started talking to some of the locals, asking if anybody had heard of anything. Nobody really knew anything and could point me in any sort of direction to start working. At that point, the only real information we've been provided was a photo, a very grainy photo that I was told was taken from Building S on the University of Georgia's, when I worked there, it was called Family Housing. I'm not sure what it's called now. It's down there off of Rogers Road and East Campus Road. I was told that photo was of someone suspicious in the area that morning. I knew the proximity of Building S to the IM fields and the location that I worked for the county down in South Millage, and I began checking in those areas for anything to go off of.
So tell us the proximities that you knew of then. The Building S that you're familiar with, how far away was that from millage?
From millage, if it's just a straight line, it's maybe 100, 150 yards, I guess.
And you were made aware of where the woman had been killed. How far away was that from Building S?
Maybe another 100 yards. I still don't know the exact location,
okay.
But I knew it was within that proximity of walking distance.
And I'm going to approach and show you a few things all at once,
okay.
So that I don't have to keep coming up to you.
No, you do.
The first thing I'm going to show you is States 144. Do you recognize 144?
Yes.
What is that?
That is the grainy photo that was taken from Building S that I was provided.
And I would move to admit States 44. 144, I apologize.
Any objection to 144? No. 144 is admitted.
States 140, we're eventually going to get to that, but since I'm up here, I got to go ahead and do it. You recognize States 140?
I do.
What is States 140?
That is a photo I took of a jacket that was located inside of a trash can on the property of either 291 or 295 South Millage Avenue, what used to be Raintree Apartments.
Okay. Is it also called Celiac at Azul at one point?
Yes.
And Argo Apartments?
Yes.
Yeah, about how many times has that apartment changed?
Since I've been living in Athens, 4 times. I believe now it is currently the Grove at 5 Points.
So no matter what the name is of that apartment complex, what are the addresses associated?
I believe it's 291 and 295 or 285. I'd have to check my CAD system mapping.
Okay, Millage Avenue.
Yes.
Are both of those addresses, 285, 291 Millage Avenue, are they both located in Athens, Clark County, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This photograph that you took, which is states 140, does it fairly and accurately depict what you saw in the dumpster on the 22nd day of February 2024?
It does.
Statement moved to admit states 140,
No, no objection. 140 is admitted.
and states 141 while I'm up here, what is that?
This is a flash drive that I have signed, and when I signed it, it contained my body cam footage resolving collection of that jacket.
And is it a fair and accurate recording of your body cam footage?
It is.
Statement moved to admit 141.
Any objection to 141?
No, sir.
141 is admitted.
And may I publish?
Yes.
So starting first with 144, is that the image that you were talking about that you had received?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you got to work about 6 p.m. that day?
Yes, that's when my shift starts.
Okay. And you had that image, you said you started asking people, you know, millaging around. What else did you do in relation to trying to assist the officers with the crime that had just occurred?
So, given the university's location to Millage, I recalled an incident from 6 years ago where I pursued a subject from Building S, behind Building S, to, at the time, what was Argo Apartments at that 291, 295 address. And there's a perfect cut through that walks through those two. So I figured the ease of access for someone to easily cut over to Millage. I began checking dumpsters just because people tend to try and get rid of property in dumpsters that they don't want to be in possession of. I checked several dumpsters. We had also been called to, people were starting to call in about everything at this point, not really knowing what's going on, trying to be helpful. During that time, I found myself at the Raintree Apartments, wherever it was called. Started going through those dumpsters. There's one immediately behind the Italian restaurant that's there, that's still on the Raintree property. Looked in there, didn't see anything that really appeared to be evident that it was, pertinent to what was going on. I then made my way around. I noticed that the trash had been picked up recently. It's a rather large complex, and
Sorry, we had the lights off before you got
no,
here.
you're fine. And then, so the trash had been picked up either earlier that day or relatively recently, just due to the lack of trash that was in there. I made my way further into the complex, and I noticed there were 3 dumpsters, 2 of which were trash receptacles and one that was clearly marked for recycling. I checked the 2 trash ones. They have the sliding doors on the side. Looked in there, didn't notice anything. Again, nothing that really stuck out to me as pertinent. Finally went to the one that was strictly labeled for recycling. The sides of it were welded shut, but the top was open, so I climbed up onto it and looked down into it, and that's when I noticed the blue jacket.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you notice about the blue jacket? And is it the blue jacket that is depicted here in states 140?
It is.
All right, there's a pointer right next to you. Can you point out the jacket?
Oh, wow.
Oh, it should be, oh, nope, there's your pointer.
Perfect. So that is the jacket. The photo of the suspicious individual, they were wearing a darker colored jacket, appeared to have some shinier zippers or buttons on the front. Again, super grainy, but something to go on. The zipper, as well as it appeared as though there were leaves, and upon further examination, there was a little bit more.
Okay. Could you see anything else on the jacket at some point?
Not from this height. At this point, we didn't want to just be chasing down clothes in dumpsters, but given this proximity to the scene as well as the photo that was taken, I immediately notified my supervisor so that he could contact the University of Georgia Police Department since they were working the case. Detectives from UGA came out to look at it. They decided they would like to collect the evidence. I volunteered to climb into a dumpster, and upon picking up the jacket, I noticed that there were leaves on it. There were tears on the front as well, and what appeared to be some darker red or brown stains on the sleeves near the wrist.
Okay, and did you notice anything else on the jacket?
There was, I believe in my video I stated it's a button. The front has 2 pockets up here that fold down, and on the bottom has 2 pockets that fold out. That the buttons are used to close those pockets. Wrapped around one of the pocket buttons appeared to be dark hair.
So you jumped into the dumpster.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you or publish for you. Your Honor, can we toggle back over? States 141. Do you see the screen in front of you? Do you see that address, 2091 South Milledge Avenue?
Yes,
And that is located in Athens, Clark County, Georgia.
it is.
Is that where you found this jacket?
It is.
Who's that we see in your body
That
cam
is
video?
Detective Norris from the University of Georgia Police Department. He's the one currently standing on the side of the dumpster. The gentleman on the right is, I'm not sure of his rank at this time, but it is, when I was there, Lieutenant Graham.
Okay. So are
again,
those ACC PD officers or UGA PD
University
officers?
of Georgia Police
Okay,
officers.
thank you.
The first 30 seconds is silent on all of our videos. It gives a chance to buffer and go backwards from time of activation.
Okay.
Just
So
to
we'll
clarify
hear
that.
volume in a second.
Yes,
All right.
about 10 seconds.
Come on. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
There's hair on the buttons, ripped up sleeves.
Can you bundle it up with whatever is? Yeah, let me open this bag.
All right. See a brunette?
Yeah.
There's women's long hair wrapped up in the buttons.
Let's stop it at 258 in the top, which of course is UTC. So if it's 258 UTC minus 5 hours, about what time of night was this?
9:58?
Pardon?
9:58?
9:58?
PM,
Okay.
yes.
PM.
Good friend of that.
So I think you did that right. 2:23:24, 2:58 UTC is 9:58 PM on the 22nd day of February 2024.
Yes.
Right, thank you. I heard you just ask, was she a brunette? Why did you ask that question?
Because the hair wrapped up in the buttons appeared to be darker, didn't appear to be full black, and it definitely wasn't blonde. So.
All right.
While I'm in here, stand by. Are we looking for a white coffee cup?
A white cup?
It's not the same. It's part of some other trash. I know I still talk that about it. I don't see anything else sticking out. You good with it? What? Been called dumb before. No one satisfied? A report.
That is fine.
How many dumpsters had you looked at that evening before you got to this one?
Before to this one, I believe there's one dumpster area located behind the Tall Boy Liquor Store, which is at the intersection of Millage and the inner loop exit ramp. So that would be 1 or 2 dumpsters there, the other one on that property, and then including the 2 more, so that puts us at 5, and this dumpster makes 6. Somewhere in that area.
All right. And we heard you say something about a coffee cup, a white coffee cup.
Correct.
What was that all about? What were you looking for?
In the, what are we calling it? The grainy photo?
Sure.
In the grainy photo, it appears that the subject's carrying a coffee cup.
Okay, well, hold on just a second. Maybe toggle back over. In states 144, do you see the cup you were talking about?
I do.
Okay, is that in the person's right or left hand?
Their left hand.
All right. Is that what you were looking for in the dumpster?
Yes, I just remembered seeing the photo and seeing a white coffee cup, but it didn't appear large enough when I picked it up.
And so you didn't find that, but you looked?
Correct.
And anything else in the dumpster that was suspicious to you at all?
No.
Did you notice, and the dumpster seemed kind of high, I mean, how high was it for you to get out? You stood in it, so how tall are you?
My license says 6 foot, it's like 5'11".
Okay.
But in boots, I'm 6 foot, and it's a hair taller than me, so probably 6'3", 6'4". The slit for the opening is, I believe I have to get on my tippy toes to look into it.
Okay.
So that's probably in the area of 6 feet.
All right. And when you hopped out of the dumpster, did you see a camera?
Yes.
Let me back up a little bit, and I want you to show us the camera that you saw when you got out. I'm going to go back to where you hop out, and I want you to tell me to stop when you see the camera.
Can we get the video back?
Let's go back over.
Oh, sorry. So for the record now, I have states 141, and I'm just using the UTC time at this point at 2:59.
So
I'm stopping it now at 2:59.
yeah. So this apartment right here is Bravo 32 at Raintree Apartments. In that doorway, I believe it's on the left side, you can kind of see a dark spot right there.
Mm-hmm.
That dark spot in a clearer video would clearly be a security footage camera of that residence.
Okay. And did you let UGAPD or UGPD know that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I have one moment with Counsel, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness. Thank you.
Officer Davis,
Yes.
so we obviously see you get the jacket, take custody of the jacket, and before you put it into that paper bag, you were sort of talking to the other officers who were outside of the dumpster, right, describing a little bit.
Correct.
And one of the things we hear you say is that it's torn.
Correct.
And do you recall how many tears?
I do not. I did not want to manipulate the jacket any more than I needed to package it, but I also wanted to get as much of a description that I could at the time.
And then, and obviously you didn't examine it further after you packaged it up.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have.
Regret.
No, sir.
And be excused.
Yes, sir.
Any objection, Mr. Dunn? You're excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next witness is going to be a little lengthy, so when we take our afternoon break, so I can make sure, I have all of the,
Okay.
do, it'd be probably a good time to break.
All right, 10-minute recess.